The Netherlands never built tanks in massive numbers, but every tank it used reflected survival, rebuilding, and alliance. This is the complete story of every tank ever used by the Netherlands. Unlike major armored powers, the Netherlands did not pursue large-scale domestic tank production. Instead, its armored history was shaped by geography, limited industry, and close cooperation with allies. From early experimentation before World War II to modern NATO standard main battle tanks, Dutch armor evolved through necessity rather than ambition. Renault FT. The Renault FT was the first tank operated by the Netherlands. Acquired after World War I, it introduced Dutch forces to armored warfare. With its rotating turret and light design, the FT represented the basic principles of modern tank design. Its role was limited to training and experimentation, but it laid the foundation for all future armored doctrine in the Netherlands. Vickers Light Tank Mk6. Before World War II, the Netherlands sought modern armored vehicles from abroad. The Vickers Light Tank Mk6 was purchased to improve mobility and reconnaissance capability. Lightly armored and armed, it was not intended for heavy combat. When Germany invaded in 1940, these tanks were quickly outmatched. Their short service highlighted the vulnerability of lightly equipped forces against modern mechanized armies. M4 Sherman. After World War II, the Netherlands rebuilt its military with Allied support. The M4 Sherman became the backbone of Dutch armored forces during the early post-war years. Reliable, well-supported, and familiar across NATO, it allowed the Netherlands to rapidly restore armored capability. Shermans served both in Europe and in colonial conflicts, marking a return to armored relevance. M24 Chaffee. The M24 Chaffee represented a shift toward mobility and reconnaissance. Light, fast, and well-armed for its size, the Chaffee was ideal for scouting and rapid maneuvers. It replaced older light tanks and supported armored formations with speed rather than brute force. Its service reflected changing doctrine during the early Cold War. M47 Patton. With NATO standardization, the Netherlands adopted the M47 Patton. This medium tank brought improved firepower, armor, and crew protection. Armed with a 90mm gun, it was a major upgrade over earlier vehicles. The M47 helped integrate Dutch armored units into NATO defensive planning during the tense early years of the Cold War. Centurion. The Centurion marked a significant leap in capability. Heavily armored and armed with a powerful gun, it was one of the best tanks of its era. The Netherlands operated the Centurion as a main battle tank rather than a specialized heavy design. Its long service life reflected reliability and adaptability, making it a cornerstone of Dutch armored forces during the Cold War. Leopard 1. The Leopard 1 symbolized a new European approach to tank design. Developed in Germany and adopted by the Netherlands, it emphasized mobility, firepower, and crew survivability over heavy armor. As a NATO standard main battle tank, the Leopard 1 allowed seamless cooperation with Allied forces. It became the primary Dutch tank for decades. Leopard 2, 2A4/2A6. The Leopard 2 represents the most advanced tank ever operated by the Netherlands. Featuring composite armor, advanced fire control systems, and a powerful 120mm gun, it placed Dutch armored forces at the forefront of modern warfare. Upgraded variants improved protection and lethality, reflecting evolving threats and battlefield realities. The Leopard 2 marked the peak of Dutch tank capability. Doctrine and strategy. Dutch tank doctrine focused on defense, cooperation, and rapid response. Rather than independent armored breakthroughs, tanks were designed to operate within NATO frameworks, supporting infantry and Allied formations. Geography and infrastructure emphasized mobility and coordination over massed armor. The end of Dutch tanks. In the 2010s, the Netherlands made a historic decision. Its tank units were disbanded as part of defense restructuring, relying instead on Allied cooperation for heavy armor capability. Although controversial, this decision reflected modern strategic realities and alliance-based defense planning. From early experimental tanks to some of the most advanced main battle tanks in the world, the Netherlands' armored history is one of adaptation rather than dominance. Dutch tanks were never about numbers. They were about integration, reliability, and alliance. Each vehicle tells a story, not of conquest, but of cooperation and defense.